Dear student, let us take a small poem today. Ecology. Ecology, the poem written by A.K. Ramanujan. Ecology means here the relation of plants and living creatures to each other and to their environment. In this poem, A.K. Ramanujan not express about the environment, not express about the environment, and also here what is the relationship between human beings and nature, and that conveys the need for protecting our environment. Okay, let us learn about the author here. A.K. Ramanujan. A.K. Attipat Krishnaswamy Ramanujan was born on 16 March 1929. He was born in Mysore and educated in Mysore, Pune and Bloomington, USA. And Ramanujan was a poet and a good translator, folk lyrist, philologist, critic, and cultural historian. He was worked as a professor of South Asian languages and civilization at the University of Chicago. The range and the variety of his work offer evidence of the scholarship. Ramanujan's poems are marked by gentle irony and a deep reflection of human relations. Ramanujan once observed that he was the hyphen in the phrase Indo-American, means here he was an Indo-American poet and his work displays an intense engagement with Indian traditions. Basically, he was an Indo-American writer, a poet, but he was a strong intense and engagement with Indian traditions and cultures on one hand, and with modern issues such as transcendentalism, hybridity, and transculturations on the other. For his numerous writings, he received and he was honored with and he was awarded the Padma Shri in 1976, and after Padma Shri award he received Sahitya Academy Award posthumously in 1999. After his death, he was awarded by the Sahitya Academy Award. Basically, Ramanujan was an Iyengar family in the Karnataka, and but he was educated in Mysore and Pune and Bloomington, USA, and at the same time he was worked as a professor Asian Languages and Civilization at the University of Chicago. So here he was in Indo. I can. Right. Okay. What about the poem, which is we are going to see in this poem? What is a brief line of the narrator wants to say in this poem? A brief introduction about the poem. Okay, Ecology, you know very well, is a characteristic Ramanujan poem. It is it straddles both tradition and modernity. And the speaker means in this poem, A.K. Ramanujan was a poet and narrator, and at the same time, speaker, whoever mentioned whichever and whatever mentioned in this poem, all those regarding and those are all on behalf of the poet only. The speaker attitudes reflects an innate empathy with the tradition and ironic self-distancing, which is mentioned in this poem by Ramanujan. Those are all reflects the innate empathy, the feelings with the tradition and an ironic self-distancing. And the poem progresses on the basis of a series of contrasts. What are the contrasts? The speaker initial rage against the trees, initial rage against the trees, and his concern for his mother health. Why did he get that rage? Because of his mother's health. His concern for his mother health, his race and his mother's stoic acceptance of our discomfort. Discomfort means how did his mother gets the problems from that trees. Okay, by the reason of that, the poet and the narrator wants to some disagreement with the trees, which is mentioned in this poem. And the speaker seemingly unsentimental views of the trees and respect for the mother's sentiment and so on. He gets rage because of that kind of reason. What is the reason here? His mother gets some health problems. What is the health problem? We go in detail in poem, and but the poet don't have any sentiment view on trees, but his mother has a sentiment with trees. So on that, what he has done for the trees and what her mother uh, expressed some important views, some sentiment with trees has been explained in this poem. And after that, the association of the trees with family and familial experiences gives us a profound insight into the Indian approach towards ecology. Okay, this is a strong bond between the Indian people and Indians with the trees. That is the bond. That is how the Eka Ramanujan has been explained about the between the Indian people and the trees. How the Indians uh, are having the sentiment with or on the trees, how they behave. This is very important lines because of the poet skillfully Mino errors, connectors, and punctuation marks to conclude the poems in one single line. The poem finally highlights the inextricable relationship what I have explained in the starting of the that is in inextricable relationship between human beings and nature that conveys the need for protecting our environment. Okay, we get we get some kind of situations discomfort with trees, but at the same time we have to we have the responsibility to protect the environment. This kind of uh, it is like a moral to the every citizen of this world and in India also. Okay, we go through in line by line in details about what Ramanujan and why did he get uh, rage. What is the reason behind that? We can try to understand here. Okay, I will read this poem. Listen carefully. The first lines: the day after the first rain, for years I would come home in a rage. Okay, I will be repeat again here. The day after the first rain, for years. Rain means monsoon, like that. For years, I would come home in a rage. Rage means a feeling of violent anger that is difficult to control. Anger and violent behavior caused by a particular situation. Why did he get rage? That is important. Uncontrollable anger, a violent anger, a feeling of violent anger. At the same time, if a person gets that kind of anger, how what are the changes get in his face? That is important in this poem. And the day after first rain, the poet, the narrator himself, expresses all the views he had about and what is happened there, and it is natural. Every person knows very well. It is natural that what is the nature we find the greenery and flowering in a particular season, a monsoon, and every year without any deviation. At the same time, that thing happened that day. What the narrator, the poet, expressing that lines here. The day after the first rain for years, I would come home in a rage. In this season, after the rain, a lot of flowers are found on that which trees. For I could see from a mile away on three red champak trees had done it again. It is naturally uh, in particular season, in particular trees will blossom. Okay, that is naturally will happen to the trees. At the same time, these red champak trees also had done it again. Means here they blossomed at the in a particular season. Okay, how far I could see from a mile away, our three red champak trees had done it again, which is located their home, and their where the house is located, that place, three red champak trees. Those red champak trees of them only. Again, the red champak trees blossomed that particular season. Okay, what will happen? Could see from a mile away. That is a place where the trees are located. The narrator, the poet, has been explained. Okay, how had burst into flowers and given mother her first blinding migraine of the season. Suddenly, suddenly, his mother gets the migraine. What is the reason behind that? Why did his mother gets migraine pain, a severe headache? Migraine means, I will be give the meaning here, is a type of headache that often makes a person feel sick and have difficulty in seeing. Okay, because of the red champak trees, the poet's mother uh, gets migraine. Reason is that the three red champak trees has blossomed, and what will happen there? With their sweet heavy hung yellow pollen fog of fragrance, no wine could shift. While these red champak trees or blossomed, those flowers having the pollen, having the pollen, the pollens means a fine powder. You know very well, once we are going to observe this any kind of uh, flower has the pollen. At the same time, these red champak trees also have the pollen. Those powder, fine powder, usually yellow, that is formed in flowers and carried to other flowers of the same kind by the wind and by insects to make those flowers to produce seeds. From from those from that pollen, we get some kind of fragrance, a smell. So that is the reason why did the narrator's mother gets migraine, a severe headache. Okay, with their street long heavy hung suspended, there is no place. Uh, all the place is occupied with these champak trees and yellow fog of a fragrance no wine could shift. There is no chance to come a fresh air. All the which is where that house is located, that place is fully occupied with the fragrance of the red champak trees flowers. Okay, there is no another air, only the smell, that is the fragrance of that red champak trees. Okay, that is the main reason the mother gets the fragrance. After that, no door could shut out from our black pillared house, whose walls had ears and eyes. Here, the author, the narrator, and the poet, and personified with this kind of fear, the house and ears and eyes, like that. How the human beings having the pots like that. Here, uh, personified with the house. Here, no door shut out from our black pillared house, whose walls had ears and eyes, which was built in ancient days. It is a old house. So You know very well how does the old house look like. It is like a cracks like that. From that cracks and some kind of hole, so you know very well, you will be fine, you will be find some kind of how the old house and ancient days house, how it look like. From that holes and cracks and that kind of holes and cracks, the smell of the red champak trees will come out in, inside the house. Inside the house, nightly visiting voices and were porous like us. From the like small holes, the smell, the fragrance of that flower, red champak trees flower fragrance will enter into their old house. It means to say here there is no a fresh air to take a breath. So that is the main reason why did what I have explained in the beginning. Why did the author gets the discomfort and disagreement with trees here? Okay, what will happen next? But mother, flashing her temper like her mother's twisted silver grandchildren's knicker. but but mother don't get any nervous, any discomfort with the trees, because of she has a sentiment with trees. At the same time here, how the Indian people are having the sentiment with or on the trees here, yeah, he wants to explain in this line. Okay, you have to understood what is the situation of the poet and her mother. Again, her mother doesn't have uh, any disagreement with trees. We never anger. We never get angry on a particular trees because of he has a sentiment. Okay, particularly how the Indians have the sentiment. This is particularly A.K. Ramanujan wants to explain in this poem. And but mother flashing her temper like her mother's twisted silver grandchildren knickers. She is thinking like a mother how the trees are useful to the next generations, grandchildren's, and their next coming generations. Okay, so why did uh, get why did get the poet angry on trees, and what is the reason, and what kind of reason, and to towards the trees, this is very important in this line. And next, wet as the cold pack on her head, not let us cut down a falling tree. Okay, the mother wants to his son, and son means here poet and narrator and author everything. And here you don't cut the trees. I will be managed with a cold pack on her head. You know very well, when will we get any headache or any pain, we try to uh, control with a cold pack. Like that, here mother also doing such kind of activity in this way. But here she is controlling, uh, she has controlling herself because here she has a sentiment on trees. Here what how the present citizens have the sentiment, and how the old generation people have the sentiment on trees. This is very very important. The son only knows her mother is suffering from the migraine of three red champagnes, but your mother not like that. Okay, finally, her son decided to cut down the red champagnes. His mother wants to his son don't cut the trees and that flowing trees because all the seasons means here every year they the trees uh, give us a wonderful flowers almost as old as she said by a passing bird's prudential dropping. At the same time, how is mother old? At the same time, the tree also has same old age. Okay, at the same time, it is seeded and seeded by passing birds providential dropping. You know very well, while the birds migrating from the one place to another place, they give they are dropping the their and their fruits and like that. At the same time, so many trees will grown like that only, and to give her gods and her daughters basket full of annual flower every day. The mother prays to the god with their means here the red champak trees flowers, and not only mother and next coming generations also use it to their praise to the god and their usage and their personal use also the flowers are very useful. So that's why here the uh, uh, mother said to his his son her son don't cut the red champak trees, and for one line of cousins a dover of migrants in this season. But here if I control that kind of migraine now, those trees gives uh, every year blossomed, and those flowers are useful to the next daughters and next coming generations also. But that's why I will be control myself and I will manage what I got headache or migraine from that uh, flowers which are giving that kind of smell. This is the uh, poem means here uh, the how the Indian people and uh, old generation people have the sentiment on the trees and how they protect the environment, and at the same time how the present generations uh, shall take the initiation to protect the environment. If we protect the environment, that gives us a good healthy and good environment. This is the very very important poem from Eka Ramanujan, which is we completed now. Here we have to remember in this poem ecology. Ecology means here the relation of plants and living creatures. Okay, that is the bond between plants and living creatures means all animals like including human beings also. And rage means a uncontrollable and violent anger and difficult to control. I explained about, and migraine a type of headache, and pollen means that is one kind of powder, yellow powder. This is also you know very well. And fog a cloud just above the ground of water or makes it difficult to see. Here, the personification is perfect to be a perfect example of how the human beings have the holes and ears like that. Their old house also like that. From that holes and scales, the smell, the migraine of the red champak trees has been entered into their house. Then her his mother, the poet's mother, gets the headache. That is migraine. Okay, and after that, providential uh, means here lucky because it happens to the right time but without being planned. Okay, uh, this is about a natural call of the birds, and dower a natural endowment or gift. This is a small poem of A.K. Ramanujan, which is expressed the view of the relationship between human beings and environment. Okay, thank you.